$225 used fuel injectors
for $600 high-performance injectors.
Does more expensive mean more better?
Let's find out.
We bought two nearly identical Nissan 350Zs, and we've been modifying them to be fun, daily drivers that you can take to the track.
1Z, mine, gets all the expensive parts. Nolan's gets all the cheap, crummy stuff. Oops.
And then we test them to see which components are actually worth spending your hard-earned money on.
In a previous video, we turbocharged both of our 350Zs. High car, my car, got a Jim Wolf twin turbo kit.
And low car got a single turbo fresh off the shelf from Amazon of all places.
It's from Amazon. It's probably delivered by a friggin' robot. However, we ran out of time and we're not able to upgrade one critical component of the bAbEh system. Fuel injectors.
Look.
Gas. So high car is getting $600 600cc Beechworks injectors. That is $1 per cc. That's quick math.
And on low car, we're installing $225 550cc used R35 GTR fuel injectors. That's pretty sick. Just looking at these already, it looks like, thank you, James, one is already broken. So that's good. Let me just do a quick check to make sure. Nope, that's definitely broken. Injectors are only one part of the equation. It's pointless to have bigger fuel injectors if you can't feed them.
Just like kids.
Yeah, and
you
that
shouldn't have a big one if you can't feed it more.
I did bankrupt our family. And that means we need a bigger fuel pump. For that, we got the good old Walbro 255 for $100. The 255 means that it can pump 255 liters per hour versus the stock one, which only pumps about 150 liters per hour.
After we're done putting all this stuff on it, we're gonna throw both cars on the dyno to see once and for all who's making the most power, baby. Woo! More power, baby. Woo!
A turbo is basically a big vacuum powered by your car's exhaust. Exhaust gases exit your engine and spin a turbine wheel on one side of the turbo. That turbine is connected via a rod to another turbine that is sucking in air from the outside and pushing it into your engine. And now that the engine has more air than it knows what to do with, we have to add more fuel as well.
So when we added the twin turbo kit to high car, we made about 335 horsepower, but we were bumping up against the fact that while we were adding more air, we weren't able to add more fuel. And so in order to keep our car from exploding, we kept the tune a little safe.
And we want to crank that thing up to the sky. So to do that, we need to add more gas. So to add more gas, we got some injectors. So the first step is taking off this strut brace, which blocks the intake manifold from coming off. It's got to come off because the fuel injectors are down below it.
Get the intake manifold off. I believe there's 10 bolts on top, 8 inside of it, and then it should just pop off.
Every step we take, we're putting all the hardware in the different bags. That way when you go to put it back together, save a lot of time not looking for bolts and nuts.
Don't trust your brain, trust your bags.
The whole approach to this is to try to keep everything on top in one piece. And when it goes back on, it's faster and easier, and we don't have to double check all the connections.
This is pretty cool because we haven't cracked into our engine yet. We've added stuff on, but we've never actually taken apart the stock motor. Whoa, there it is. That's it? All right, I was expecting 2 banks of intakes just to go to either side, but it looks like it's just a cast one piece unit. That's pretty cool. I was not expecting to see that.
These are the fuel rails, and each of these are an injector. So now we got to put these bigger injectors in so we can make some more fuel with our air. When you're working on stuff and you got open holes like this that go directly down into your engine, it's a good idea to just cover them up with some tape, maybe stick some clean rags in there.
If we drop a bolt or a nut or anything down there, we're screwed. Got the rails free. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up. Take a look at our first injector, compare it to our other one.
Just kind of wiggle them out. And there's some injectors, baby.
R35 injector, OEM 350Z injector. So the lengths are about the same. All the rubber O-rings are in the same position. Looks like everything is gonna fit just fine. These O-rings right here should never be dry. You always want to lubricate them with some WD-40 before shoving them up into the rail or back into the engine block.
Aaron's using WD-40. Yeah, because they're
poor people injectors didn't come with this beautiful lube.
Hey, just because we're using peasant injectors doesn't mean that we're peasants.
Yeah, this peasant can still kick your ass.
Hey! Not here! You guys are my best friends. I'm not gonna have you tearing each other apart on the day of my wedding!
If we don't get these cars finished by your wedding, your fiance is gonna leave you.
Yeah! She said, James, I wrote 400 horsepower in my vows. Don't make me a liar.
We got all our injectors nicely lubed up. Now they're ready to go on the rail.
So this is pretty cool, you know, using an OEM injector on the OEM rail. You literally just put it in, it fits fine. Even the injector clips fit on there. This is about the easiest swap you could do. You don't have to figure anything out, they just fit.
Dropping the injectors, thank you, into their homes. So we just tightened up the fuel rails with the new injectors in, which means we're halfway home.
Q, P-O-D. Boom! Here comes the boom! Ready or not! Nolan, unironically, loves P.O.D.
POD's got some pretty solid songs. Come on, let's not kid ourselves.
Not top 5 new metal bands.
No, you want top 5 new metal?
Top 5
Yeah.
new metal bands.
Deftones. Linkin Park's first 2 CDs. Rage Against the Machine.
They're not new metal.
Yeah, they are.
Well, I guess they're rap
Yeah, I'd
rock.
give it to them.
Zach
Yeah,
raps.
right, which is new metal.
Yeah. Limp Bizkit.
There
gotta
we go. I was
give it
waiting for that.
Yeah.
Top 5, yeah. They are new metal to me.
Dude, break stuff gets me freaking pumped every single time.
About your f***ing face! Give me some.
I'm angry, some of that break stuff.
I don't understand how to deal with my feelings! And Korn is the new.
Of course, Korn. Yeah,
there
gotta
you
have
go.
Korn. in
Top
there.
5
Yeah.
new metal bands.
Now we got the injectors all installed and everything. Pretty much just putting the intake manifold back on, securing all the hardware.
Time for the fun part. Remembering where everything goes. Not that way. Not that way. Not that way. That's the way.
All right, so there's probably a torque spec for this, but just because I don't know it, I'm gonna go ahead and go star pattern all the way across the whole thing and button this
80
thing
inch
up.
pounds on the top, 100 inch pounds around the perimeter. I just looked it up.
We're installing our Walbro system here. It's a bigger pump. It can pump more fuel to those bigger injectors so we can finally unlock the potential of the big turbo that we put in there.
Ours is a 190 liter per hour pump, which is not as big as theirs.
There's what, 250?
255.
Ooh!
I'm not concerned. These engines can only take about 400-ish horsepower.
Before the bottom end gives out and it explodes pistons and rods.
So hopefully, I think that 190 liter per hour pump will be good enough for 400 horsepower.
Yeah, I think both cars are gonna be bumping up around that 400 horsepower limit.
And then they're gonna be bumping uglies.
Yeah, because they're gonna be f***ing so much because they're fast and chicks love fast cars. Not. Some do.
Yeah.
Get a job, be nice.
That's how you
have
get
a
the chicks.
clean apartment or house. That's what girls like.
Yeah.
Girls like guys who like activities. I got a girlfriend and now I have all these hobbies and a cute dog. And all these girls are like, oh, what's up with that guy? I'm like, sorry ladies, I'm taken.
You got it in, bro.
Not really. Doesn't want to go all the way down. What in the is happening? What the dude? Ah, dude. What the Okay, I'm not gonna get frustrated. All the lines are set. Everything's in the car. We're gonna make sure it starts before we put everything back together.
Give it a go, man.
It's running weirdly, but that's because we have new injectors in there, so I think it just needs to be programmed. I hope there's not like a leak or anything, a vacuum leak. That'd be annoying.
We originally planned to drive these things to the dyno, but they're just not safe to drive on the road.
The safer bet is to just have them towed. That's what we'll do. We'll get them towed to the shop tomorrow morning, get them re-dynoed, retuned, and I'm hoping for 400 horsepower out of both. All right, so it's the next morning.
The day of the dyno.
So now that we have the injectors on both cars, we gotta get them tuned. So we came to Specialty Z to see our buddy Sebastian, who's a bit of a Z guru, very well respected in the Southern California community. We're gonna throw both cars on the dyno, get them running right, and finally see how much power we're making with enough fuel and all that boost. Hopefully some big old numbers.
Big old numbers.
Above 400.
That would be sweet. I would be so happy if that was the case.
410,
420, baby.
420, baby. Oh, 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 oh.
So you hear that kind of odd, like, it's misfiring. Don't know why. It shouldn't be.
Ah, okay. You guys have the coil packs in there.
Yeah?
That's why. Those things always bite you in the ass.
Do you have better coil packs?
I believe we do.
Awesome. You can have a car that makes 400 horsepower, say like at your peak horsepower, 400, sure, cool. But the way that the car gets there makes a big difference. So if you have nothing and then all of a sudden boost comes up to 400 horsepower versus a car that makes a bunch of power right off idle and then kind of flattens out up here and makes 400 horsepower, that car has a lot more area where it's making that power on this graph, which means overall it's gonna be a faster car.
All right.
That's the number that I would walk out of here with a smile with. Our final run, we made 372 horsepower and 383 foot-pounds of torque. I'm pretty happy with that. It's not quite the 400 we were talking about, but it's gonna be reliable. Nice sucker, dude. I'm so excited to drive this thing back.
Yeah.
But honestly, more than that, I'm excited to see what low car makes.
Yeah, I think they're gonna make like 680, 7.
At 4,000 RPM, we're not even making a pound of boost. She needs help.
Yeah. The manifold design is not giving the wastegate priority, so we're getting an overboost situation. We have no power under the curve, and we have a lot of work cut out for us.
Oh. Okay. What can we do then? What are the steps?
So, in order to do it right, or in order to low car it?
Needs to get fixed. There's a bunch of exhaust leaks. The wastegate needs to be addressed correctly. You kind of have to start peeling back the layers of the onion.
Made less power on that run. So Sebastian's, he's dialing it in, you know? He's working on it. I trust him. This guy knows his shit. I'm not gonna worry. I'm not gonna freak out yet.
Is that all she wrote?
That's all she wrote until she gets, fixed.
Not looking good for us. We ended up with 302 horsepower and 261 foot-pounds of torque. That's pretty disappointing.
It is very disappointing.
It's just the limitations of a freaking kit you buy on Amazon.
Who cares if your kid is garbo, bro?
Yeah, let's go have some fun.
Let's just
let's
go
go
make
do it.
some turbo noises on the highway. Here we go, baby.
Oh my goodness! I love this car. 300's enough. 300's enough. That's all you need.
This has sort of turned into a rematch of the cheap turbo kit versus the expensive turbo kit. And really, low team ended up really paying for their sins. Let's get to the numbers.
Let's do it. Before turbos, low car made 250 horsepower, high car made 210. After turbos, the first time around with no injectors, low car made 302 horsepower and high car made 334.
Nice.
But now with proper injectors and proper tuning, low car makes 303 horsepower.
Nice!
And high car makes 373.
Perfect.
Yeah. Honestly, I was a little disappointed with the outcome. I thought we were gonna be able to hit 350 no problem just because of how big that turbo is.
All in all, I'm pretty happy with the super usable 372 that we made. Power in high car just comes on early and just continues in a very uniform arc.
Whereas low car looks like a very gentle slope.
The limits of the cheap turbo kit, all the boost leaks, the poor fitment, really made themselves apparent and really are holding you guys back.
Absolutely. Oops.
And which one would you buy? Expensive injectors or used R35 injectors?
I think I would go with the used R35 injectors. I mean, they work just fine.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree. I think we could definitely get away with the smaller R35 injectors. And last time, Nolan, you said that you would have gone with the cheap turbo kit. Have you changed your mind?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Thank you so much for watching High Low. Next week, we're gonna upgrade them even further, dive deeper into the suspension stuff with adjustable front control arms, adjustable rear control arms, bigger sway bars, end links, and then we're gonna align both cars for the track and get them both corner balanced. If you don't know what that means, next week you will find out. Go to donutmedia.com if you want to pick up some merch. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at James Pumphrey. Follow Nolan J. Sykes. Follow Donut at Donut Media across all social media.
Be kind.
I love you.
See you next time.